Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
नहीं बाबा, वो प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, गैस कम है, कहीं ना कहीं से शुरू से ड्रॉप करने जाऊंगा ना, कहीं ना कहीं से मुझे गैस कराना पड़ेगा।
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
सभी लोग को है?
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
इमीडिएटली यस बनाना पड़ेगा।
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Madan Mohan Radha, Madan Mohan Radha. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Tagora Haribo, 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 Tagora Haribo.
नक्षत्र भी कर रही हूँ ना ये टाइम पे इसको निकाला ना कल भी चल अगर निकाला ये टाइम पे तो राउंड मार तो एग्जैक्टली 9:15 तक पहुंचा दो तो राउंड मार तो सो भी जाएगी तो वो पूरा फ्री टाइम मिल जाएगा चलो फ्री टाइम इसको निकाला मैंने मतलब उसके लिए तो राउंड मरवा दूंगा वहाँ पे ये सो जाएगी और जल्दी से डॉक्टर के आ जाऊंगा हिंदी में बोल रहा हूँ कल ये कुकिंग है राइट
अनादि कर्म
8 बजे निकाला उसको
ये नहीं रहेगी प्रभु जी के टाइम
परिभवार्णव जले
पिकअप करने ले जाऊंगा जब पिकअप करने ले जा रहा हूँ तब किसी को ले जाऊंगा जब वो भी नहीं करूँगा प्रभु जी को पिकअप करने जाऊंगा ना 9:15 बजे 9:15 बजे निकलना ही पड़ेगा
अनादि कर्म फले परिभवार्णव जले अनादि कर्म फले परिभवार्णव जले तारी बारे न देखी उपाय तारी तारी बारे न देखी उपाय तारी ए विषय हलाहले दीवानिशी आज्वले विषय हलाहले दीवानिशी आज्वले ए विषय हलाहले दीवानिशी आज्वले विषय हलाहले दीवानिशी आज्वले मन कभु सुख नाही पाय मन कभु सुख नाही पाय मन कभु सुख नाही पाय आश पाश शत शत क्लेशदेय अविरत शत शत क्लेशदेय अविरत प्रवृत्ति उर्मिरा ताहे खेला प्रवृत्ति उर्मिरा ताहे खेला क्राम क्रोध आदि इच्छाएं बात पड़े दया भाई
सो गई तुम काशी में नहीं बैठे तो नहीं सोती
काम क्रोध आदि इच्छाएं बात पड़े दया भाई
लगा फेवरेट
अवसान हइलो आशिबेला अवसान हइलो आशिबेला अवसान हइलो आशिबेला ज्ञान कर्म ठग दुई मोरे प्रतारिया लोई ज्ञान कर्म ठग दुई मोरे प्रतारिया लोई ज्ञान कर्म ठग दुई मोरे प्रतारिया लोई ज्ञान कर्म मोरे प्रतारिया लोई अवशेष फैले सिंधु जले अवशेष फैले सिंधु जले
क्या
एहेनो समाए बंधु तुमे कृष्ण कृपा सिंधु हेनो समाए बंधु तुमे कृष्ण कृपा सिंधु कृपा कोरी तोलो मोरे बाले कृपा कोरी तोलो मोरे बाले पतित किंकरे धरी पाद पद्म धूलि करी पतित किंकरे धरी पाद पद्मा धूलि करी पतित किङ्करे धरी पाद पद्मा धूलि करी पाद पद्मा धूलि करी देहो भक्ति विनोद आश्रय देहो भक्ति विनोद आश्रय देहो भक्ति विनोद आश्रय आमि तव नित्यदास भूलिया मायार पाश आमि तव नित्यदास भूलिया मायार पाश आमि तव नित्यदास भूलिया मायार पाश भूलिया मायार पाश बद्ध होए आछि दयामय बद्ध होए आछि दयामय बद्ध होए आछि दयामय नंद होए आछि दयामय श्रील भक्तिविनोद ठाकुर की
That's called purification, nothing else. And especially the sound guy. Purification of the sound guy. Praveen. Like this. Like this. Like this. Yeah. Like this. This way. Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. I'll read the meaning of the song. This song is written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. As a result of my selfish activities, which are without beginning, I have fallen into the ocean of material existence, and I see no means of deliverance from this great ocean of nescience. Day and night my heart burns from the vicious poison of these worldly activities, and due to this my mind never finds any real happiness. Bound by hundreds and hundreds of desires like nooses around my neck, they constantly trouble me. In this ocean of nescience, play the waves of ever-increasing materialistic tendency. There are also many thieves and rogues, of whom 6 are prominent: lust, anger, envy, greed, illusion, and madness. They are causing me great fear, and in this way, my life is coming to an end. The two highway robbers, namely intellectual knowledge and fruitive activity, have cheated and misled me, and finally they have thrown me into the ocean of misery. At such a time as this, dear Krishna, you are my only friend. You are an ocean of mercy. Please be kind and by your strength uplift me from this condition of suffering. Grasping hold of this fallen servant and fixing him as a particle of dust on your lotus feet, kindly give shelter to Bhakti Vinod. O most merciful Lord, I am actually your eternal servant. But having forgotten this, I have become bound up in the snare of Maya. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki. Okay, what's the time? 8:34. We continue till? Really? Between you and me or others are also involved? What's going on? दोनों में से मार कौन खाएगा ये बताओ बाद में मार कौन खाने वाला है? ओके ठीक है, उसके पहले नहीं मारेंगे ना? फिर ठीक है. ओके थैंक यू. They also honor prasadam in time. Okay. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामीन् इति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे. नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामिने गौरत्विषे नमः. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते. तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंगायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणम्. Hare Krishna. So I'd like to thank Tanuja Prabhu and Mataji for hosting the program here and inviting all of us on the morning of what, Juneteenth, right? Something like that, right? Okay. So today morning I got up at something like 1:15. Why did I get up so early? Why? Because I got a call from Pune, back in India, right? And the devotee who called me, he said, Prabhuji, what happened? I was sleeping. I said, wake up. उधर भी जाके सो रहे. उधर भी सो रहे आप. Why are you sleeping? I said, it is 1:15 in the morning. What do you expect of me? बोला मैं सोचा ही नहीं प्रभु जी. मैं सोचा ही. And he was saying, Prabhuji, we are celebrating Kundicha Marjan here, right? And we're going to clean the temple. And he wanted some decisions, that I offer some decisions for certain things. And I was like, now I cannot sleep. So what do I do? Then I thought, let me think something about Juneteenth, right? What should be our meditation for the day, right? So I have changed the topic for today. The topic was the famous five, right? We may not be able to discuss that today. We'll discuss something on Juneteenth and what is our take home for today. Okay. So when I searched a little, I'll read for you. In case you all don't know, you're enjoying your federal holiday, right? The federal government, it's a federal holiday in America. So Juneteenth marks the day in 1865 when federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas to take control of the state and ensure all enslaved. Do something. It cannot fall any further than this, right? So we will use it in its most fallen condition. It will not fall further than this for sure. Right. Make the best of the sorry. No, it's okay. Now this will work. Okay, so I'll read once again. Juneteenth marks the day in 1865 when federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas to take control of the state and ensure all enslaved people be freed more than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. This is what I read. Right? So it says it's a federal holiday in the United States commemorating the emancipation of enslaved African Americans, deriving its name from combining June and 19th. It is celebrated on the anniversary of the order by Major General Gordon Granger proclaiming freedom for enslaved people in Texas on June 19th, 1865. Right? That's the history. Okay. So then because it is something connected to slaves and freedom and like that, I thought I'll search some verse in Bhagavatam where Prabhupada talks about slave or something like that. So that happened to be Canto 9, Chapter 18. King Yayati regains his youth, and there is text 29. Right? So what has happened? What has 9:18:29? Right? So what happens in the story here is Shukracharya. So Sharmishta and Devayani, two girls, right? They had a fight. Okay, Prabhupada says that in the purport. I'll read the purport. There you'll get to know. So this is, I'll read the verse and then we move ahead. Pitra datta Devayani Sharmishta sanugatada swanam tat sankatam viksha tadarthasya cha gauravam Devayanim paryacharat stri sahastrena dasavat slave. Right? Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Vrishaparva wisely thought that Shukracharya's displeasure would bring danger and that his pleasure would bring material gain. Therefore, he carried out Shukracharya's order and served him like a slave. He gave his daughter Sharmishta to Devayani, and Sharmishta served Devayani like a slave, along with thousands of other women. Purport. In the beginning of these affairs concerning Sharmishta and Devayani, we saw that Sharmishta had many friends. Now these friends became maidservants of Devayani. When a girl married a Kshatriya king, it was customary for all her girl friends to go with her to her husband's house. For instance, when Vasudeva married Devaki, the mother of Krishna, he married all 6 of her sisters, and she also had many friends who accompanied her. A king would maintain not only his wife, but also the many friends and maidservants of his wife. Some of these maidservants would become pregnant and give birth to children. Such children were accepted as Dasiputra, the sons of the maidservants, and the king would maintain them. The female population is always greater than the male, but since a woman needs to be protected by a man, the king would maintain many girls who acted either as friends or as maid servants of the queen. In the history of Krishna's household life, we find that Krishna married 16,108 wives. These were not maid servants but direct queens. But Krishna expanded himself into 16,100 forms to maintain different establishments for each and every wife. This is not possible for ordinary men, right? Neither erecting such palaces nor maintaining wives, right? Okay. Therefore, although the kings had to maintain many, many servants and wives, not all of them had different establishments. Okay. So, since it's Juneteenth, I was just thinking, I was contemplating, there were two sides, right? There was somebody who was thinking, I am the master, and there were those who were slaves. The masters were thinking, we are the lords, we are the controllers, we are the owners, and they were trying to rule over the slaves, make them do things against their wishes, right? So, this lord and master game goes on continuously in our lives also, right? Purushah prakritisto hi bhungte prakritir jan gunan karanam gunasangasya sad asad yoni janmasu. Purushah prakritisto hi. So Vishwanath Thakur says Krishna is being humorous here in this verse. He calls the soul Purusha when he is not. Purushah prakritisto hi. The soul thinks oneself to be the Purusha, right? Like nowadays, if you have public restrooms, you have he, she, right? They write like that. And sometimes so many other varieties are coming up nowadays, right? Back in India, they will write Purush and Stri, right? So somebody thinks I am Purusha, but if somebody is in the Stri, female body, they are also the mentalities of Purusha. The soul thinks that I'm Purusha, I'm the enjoyer. Enjoy what? I want to enjoy the Prakriti. I want to enjoy material nature. Everyone looking for as much I can enjoy in this world. This is Purusha. This is Lord. I think I am the master. Then who is the servant here? The material nature is the servant. Or everybody else is the servant. Right? So his name was Giriraj Swami Maharaj. He was one time in Pune. So he was mentioning that Srila Prabhupada at the Singapore airport, Prabhupada had seen a boy. Prabhupada saw a boy. He was wearing a t-shirt. And on the t-shirt it was written, love me, love my dog. If you want to show how much you love me, I'll understand it by how much you love my dog. But Giriraj Maharaj said, but there is one t-shirt that everyone is wearing. And what is written on everybody's t-shirt? I am the enjoyer. And everyone is thinking. And Maharaj asked, so what is the population of the world now? And somebody said 6. How many billions, by the way, now? 7 billion. And then Maharaj, when many devotees, somebody said 5, 5.56. I said, whatever number, all of them at one place, and all of them thinking, I am the enjoyer. How is it possible? But everybody competing to become enjoyer, everybody competing to become the Lord. Now we may think today, Juneteenth, what were these guys? Why were they ruling over others like that? Why were they lording it over others? Ask yourself, do I also carry that mentality? As a conditioned soul, that mentality is in all of us. Where I think I am the Lord, I am the controller, I am the enjoyer. Right? I was, during last visit when I was in Seattle, I saw one sticker behind a car. What was written there? America, what do they write? The land of the brave and the free. Right? So it was written there, the land of the free because of the brave. A little change in that thing, right? The land of the free, right? So everyone wants to be free, right? And what happens here? Everyone is seeking, I want to be the Lord. So the first part of our discussion will be the conditioned soul's desire to lord it over others, everyone, and especially material nature. What are they trying to do? We are all trying to take Krishna's position. We have come to this world for what purpose? To take Krishna's position. But at the same time, what do you find? The second part of our discussion today will be, but everyone is seeking freedom, liberation. Right? We all are conditioned here, and all of us are making efforts. With every day, we want to make some improvement in our life. What does improvement mean? You are not satisfied with what situation you are in today. We all seek liberation. Right? And the third part of our discussion will be our nature. We'll try to understand what is our real nature. Are we supposed to lord it over? Are we supposed to become enjoyers? Or are we supposed to become servants? Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song, he writes that the song that we just now, Yugal Kirtan Prabhu sang, at the end of the song he's saying, please accept me as your servant. So we'll discuss on this. So what is material life? Material life means somehow I try to adjust matter and I try to find a comfortable position, a comfortable place, right, within this material world. Krishna says in the Gita, Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate. No matter how much you try, material world will not remain the way you would like it to be. It's always in a flux and we all are struggling. But some of us may feel satisfied. At least I'm better than the neighbor. Our situation is better than the third world countries, right? We have arranged things, much to our satisfaction. Why is it a misnomer? Because there cannot be a comfortable place within the material world. But we all are making an attempt. I am the Lord. I will control. In the 6th canto, the verse comes, Guna pravaha etasmin, kaha shapaha, konva anugraha, kaha swarga narako kova, kim sukham dukkham evava. Right? So, Chitraketu is saying this verse where he says, Guna pravaha, the material world means the constantly changing 3 modes. Guna pravaha, right? Just like if you go to the river and collect some water, right? After 5 minutes you go, it's not the same water anymore. The water has already flown down, right? It has gone down like that. So, guna pravaha, nothing is going to remain the way I like it to be. Even my body, the entire creation, everything is changing. Guna pravaha etasmin. When everything is changing in this world, Chitraketu says, Kaha shapah, konva anugraha. What is a curse and what is a blessing? Now tell me. Something that you may take as curse today, right? After a few years you may think, bach gaya. I got saved. वो अच्छा था, वो हुआ बहुत अच्छा हो गया, right? Like few of our devotees, from Chowpatty, they one time went to Pokhara, right? And they wanted to go to the place where you get Shaligram Shilas, Gandaki. They wanted to go to Gandaki. And one brahmachari from Juhu, somehow he, slipped off from the temple and he was with this group. And by the time they reached Pokhara, and from there they were supposed to take a flight. Right? And anybody here, you have been to Nepal? No? We have been. You've been to Pokhara? No? Kathmandu? From Kathmandu you go to Pokhara. It's a valley. And there you take the next flight. Right? And where do you go? From Pokhara? No, Muktinath. There's one more. There is one more spot where you reach, and from there you take a 4-wheeler. Then you go by car, right? Your jeeps, not just car, not even cars. So all these devotees. So we also went till Pokhara, and then we were supposed to board the plane, and I thought it will be a plane, right? But then when they gave us the tickets, it was like an Indian bus stand, right? Ticket lo, bus mein baith jao. Nobody out there to check. बोर्डिंग पास कुछ होता है. Whoever walks in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gates are closed. Go. Now sit in the plane. So like 6 people only. 6 people only will go at one time. And what about the rest? The plane will return and then take them. I said, wow, there is something happening here. There is something going on. And by the time we sat in the plane, it was like a, Indian state transport bus. ऐसा ऐसा आवाज आ रहा है उसमें से और क्या क्या हो रहा था उसमें से, बाप रे. बैठते साथ आई टोल्ड हिम अगले बार कभी नहीं बैठेंगे. एंड ही टेल्स मी वापस आना है, वापस आना है, बैठना पड़ेगा, बैठना पड़ेगा, एक और बार बैठना पड़ेगा. सो दिस डिवोटीज फ्रॉम Chowpatty and this brahmachari from Juhu, right? They were together. But what happened? He was doing something with his, he was fiddling with his bag, but he never realized 6 people have gone in and he remained the 7th one behind. And they closed the gate. And he was telling me, when I met him in Pune, oh, I was so angry at those people. We are together. Allow us to go together. They said, nothing doing. Only 6 people sit in the plane. And he said, I was frustrated. Itna dur tak aa gaye. And they will not allow me to go together. He said, I somehow sat there and I was waiting. When will the plane return? And then I get to board. But he said, after half an hour, there was an announcement. They had a plane crash. And all 6 people were dead, devotees. And Radhanath Swami Maharaj gave a talk on that. And we had a condolence meeting and everything. So I was asking this devotee, you felt that when you missed that plane, you felt it was a shrapa. And within half an hour, what went in your heart then? It was a blessing. Right? But then he said, when I got the news and I thought over it, we are not going to see these 6 devotees again ever. What was it? Shrapa, blessing, shrapa. When you look at this world, kaha shapaha, konva anugraha, what is blessing and what is a curse? Chitraketu is saying, what is sukha and what is dukkha in this world, right? What is dukkha today will turn into sukha tomorrow. Or what is sukha, I may think, dukkha, right? Generally, when I say this part of the verse, the husband says, yes, Prabhuji, some decisions we understand, right? Ram Prabhu. Right? The husband, yes, Prabhuji, जो सुख लगा था वो उस समय बताया था, सावधान सावधान. याद है सबको, जिसका शादी हुआ था सबको वार्निंग मिला था, दोनों पार्टी को सुनना था, सावधान हो जाओ, सावधान. Oh no, we were happy. But then day in and day out, कभी सुख है कभी दुख है. That's what is happening in the material world. And he says, फिर स्वर्ग क्या है और नरक क्या है? What is swarga and what is naraka? So we are trying to lord it over material nature, but we forget this world is not in my control. I am too small, I am too minute, right? And we generally find we are always dependent. We are helplessly dependent on the material nature for everything, right? The conditionings that have been put on us, right? We may not want them. Nobody wishes them. How many of you like hunger? We don't want to, right? But we'll experience it. How many of us want to get old? How many of us want to die? And we are all making an attempt, right? All the scientists and all the innovations are towards what? Let's make this world a better place, right? And what is the song we sing? हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब. कौन से दिन? कौन से दिन बाबा? You made us sing that song and you made a fool out of us. होने वाले हैं, होने वाले, एक दिन होने वाला है. कौन सा दिन बता दो कब हुआ? Who has become successful? Right? When I was small, whenever I would ask, any elders, please tell me a story. I'm getting bored. Please tell me a story. And they would tell me a story. एक था राजा एक थी रानी, दोनों मर गए खत्म कहानी. बाप रे, पर सबको राजा बनना है, सबको रानी बनना है, बट नोबडी थिंक्स, ओह दोनों मर गए खत्म कहानी. Pune, where I hail from, it is the place of Peshwas. It is the place of the Maratha rulers, right? And their pride was Shaniwar Vada, right? Even today, the only Vada, what do I call it? Not a palace as such, but fort, Haveli of fort, you can say. That's the only thing that is remaining. Imagine, it was the pride. It was the pride, in those days. But today, government has made public restrooms there, and people will park their cars and go in. I've come to the market, but I need to use the restroom. Now imagine if those guys in that era get to know, हमारे शनिवार वाड़ा में पब्लिक टॉयलेट है, ये घुसे कैसे अंदर में, right? We all are making attempt, right, to control material nature, to control the conditions the way I like it to be, right? Air conditioning means what? It should be the way I like it to be. We all want to experience happiness. We all want to experience peace, fulfillment that is not dependent on external circumstances. But what do we experience? We are helplessly dependent on external circumstances. So what are we trying to do? We all are trying to become independent, right? Independent of what? Maya is ruling over me, right? I want to adjust conditions within the Maya's world that I can be the enjoyer. But so many have tried. The kings tried, right? If king was the most powerful personality, how many have come and how many have gone by, right? How many have tried? But we helplessly try to lord it over material nature. What does it mean? The scriptures tell us we want Krishna's position. Because Krishna is saying in the Gita, Maya adhyakshena prakritihi. But what am I trying? I want to become adhyaksha of prakriti. Right? I'm telling Krishna, you have tried, or you may be, but is there any chance of competition here? Can I take your position? So, the famous ISKCON, photograph where you find Krishna is standing, Radharani is there, and there are 4 gopis this side, and the 4 gopis this side, and everyone they have their instruments in their hand. Right? So, one time when I was returning from the railway station, there's a new mall that has opened up, right, near the railway station in Pune, and huge windows. They have really big windows, and on that they had placed a picture there, a photograph, Siaram shootings. And what was the picture about? The model, the hero, what is he doing? He has put on Siaram shootings, right? And he has put on all the clothes, right, tuxedo and all. And there's a lady standing here, 4 ladies here, and 4 ladies this side. You know what's going on here? You wear, our, cloth, and what will happen? You can take Krishna's position. Just by wearing, a certain cloth, can you take Krishna's position? You cannot. But, the cloth could be one medium, but we all are trying. We all are trying to do what? We want to take Krishna's position. Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya, Sadhana, Shakti, Rej. Krishna may do Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya. The whole creation. I will try within my house. This much. सब भूमि गोपाल की 1000 स्क्वायर फुट छोड़ के इधर का कृष्ण कौन? कृष्णा यू कीप द वर्ल्ड. इस 1000 स्क्वायर फुट के बीच में आने का लिया. इधर का कृष्ण कौन? इधर का कृष्ण मैं. I am trying, So we all are making an attempt. What's the time? It's 9:03. And what happens? I am trying to become Krishna. He is trying to become Krishna. He is trying to take Krishna's position. And then how many Krishnas can be there? 1. If there's a company, right, there can be 1 CEO. There could be, if we are serving together, there can be 1 leader. Creation, there can be 1 God. But all of us are trying here. And then what happens? I am trying to become God. You are trying to become God. And then there is envy. Continuous envy. Right? Then we try to become lesser gods. God, Prabhupada would call them demigod, demigod. Right? They are also trying. Indra is worried. Oh, who is this small boy in Brindavan? Right? He has stopped my worship. I am great. What is this small boy? And then that there's a ladder of small time Krishnas that come in between. And all of us try to fill in that gap. I want to be Krishna. I want to enjoy. And then there is a spirit of envy that comes into play. And all of us are trying. And then when we celebrate Juneteenth, what is happening here? Some people thought we can lord it over. And then whom? Then there's somebody has to be below me. Right? And what is Juneteenth? All this lording mentality and this mentality to become free. Now we go to the second part of my presentation. The second part is we are all seeking liberation. We all seek freedom. At some level I understand I am trying to become Krishna, but at another, and then I see there is somebody above me. Right? Then I don't like to be a dependent. Right? I like to be free. Right? I was during my last visit, I was in Washington DC, and I was staying with my sister, and one family came to meet me, and they said, it is not part of the scheduled programs, but we want you to visit our home today evening. I said, please don't do this with me, today, out of schedule, don't make me run here and there. And they said, it's a very special party, right? Please do visit, right? It's very close to our heart. The reason is very close to heart. You will get to know when you come for the program. I said, oh, aisa bhi program hota hai, I'll get to know about the party or the program when I visit. I said, okay, I'll visit. And when I was there, they made me sit, and all of their family and friends, they were there, and they said, today our son is going to experience, his last day at home, and from tomorrow he'll be free. Woo! And I said, what? Last day at home, tomorrow he'll be free. I couldn't make out. I come from India, and I was like, मुझे बताया भी नहीं था reason क्या था. And then by the time they spoke, and I understood, the son is preparing. कल से घर के बाहर, you go to your college or you go wherever you want. This is your last day here. I thought इसके लिए पार्टी है, इसके लिए पार्टी, घर से बाहर भेज रहे. And I was like, ऐसा भी फ्रीडम चाहिए किसी को. India, we cannot even think of like this. Kids want to go and parents are like, इधर बैठ, और इधर parents घर से निकल. And I was like, क्या culture हो गया है? तू यहाँ से जा बाबा. Right? We all are seeking this freedom. Like those of you who have been on a cruise ride, right? And if especially that cruise ride is like a week long or a 15 days or a month long, what happens very soon? You experience fatigue, because seasickness, water everywhere. What do? And you feel as if I'm bound, as if I'm in prison. I can't go anywhere. You love to go. People pay for it, but after a few days you realize, ये फंस गए, इधर से उतर नहीं पा रहे. But then the management on that cruise ship, they have to do something to once again create that mood. And what do? One evening, what will they do? They'll call everyone on the deck. All the customers come on the deck, all the passengers come on the deck, and then they'll bring some cages and there are pigeons inside those cages, right? And they'll play music, and everyone's thinking, what's going to happen? By the time that all music and things get over, the last part of the show is they'll open the cage and the pigeons will fly off. And what happens to everyone on the deck? कोई तो उड़ गया. Somebody got free from here. इतना satisfaction मिलता है, कोई तो छूटा बेचारा इधर से, हम पैसे देके फंस गए पर ये कोई तो गया. And then the show gets over and they are told, please go to your rooms and there are other engagements for you. But what happens? What they don't get to see is जहाज का पंछी उड़ के जाएगा कहाँ? जहाज के पंछी को उड़ के वापस, the cages are kept open and the birds will once again, they'll fly all around. Water everywhere. Where will they go? They come back into the cage. Right? But I'm giving this example for what? We are all seeking freedom. We are all seeking liberation. We want to be liberated. So just like the slaves, they attempted, they did, how many of the slaves lost their lives in an attempt to experience freedom or to gain freedom for all others, to others, right? Similarly, all of us at the level of soul, we all know that we seek freedom. We are all working for it. We understand that there are three modes working on me. There are conditions put on me. And what are the conditions? The conditions are on the external body. Right? The body, there are certain conditions put on me. Srila Prabhupada would say, the duck can be on the land or can go into the water. But for me, if I am pushed into water, that's death. So there's a condition put on me. There's a condition put on me that I am going to live for certain time period. Right? Just like a medicine has a manufacturing date and an expiry date, there's a condition. Expiry hai, hone wala hai. Similarly for me, there's going to be an expiry date. That's a condition on me. So there are conditions put on me, right, on the body that way, and there are conditionings on the subtle body. The gross body has conditions and the subtle body has conditionings. Prabhupada is saying in Bhakti Thakur is saying in the verse, lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion, all these are conditionings where which trap me. So I am seeking freedom. But what happens in seeking freedom? We think Maya is controlling me and I will rule over Maya. Right? But then devotees come by and say, wait, you surrender to Krishna. And then you'll find it becomes very difficult to hear that word, surrender, surrender, right? Surrender कर दूं मैं, बहुत मुश्किल था. Why? Because we doubt if I was under Maya, right, and Maya was beating me, now I surrender to Maya, I surrender to Krishna, who is the master of Maya. What will happen? The master of Maya, what will he do with me, man? All the more exploitation will happen, it seems. There's a doubt that goes in. Surrender karo ki nahi karo? But Krishna is saying, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam surrenderam. That's not the word. When you hear surrender, it seems painful. Krishna is sharanam. So much difference you see when you hear it in Sanskrit. Mam ekam sharanam. Sharanam means protection. Sharanam means care. Sharanam means I will be actually offered what I am seeking for. Right? So mam ekam sharanam, Krishna is saying. And Krishna says, aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshaishyami mashuchaha. So our nature is to surrender, Prabhupada says, either to Krishna or Maya. Right? Whose slave would you like to become? Ask yourself. As soul, we have option. Not too many options there to bewilder. Only two. Either Krishna, become a slave of Krishna. Or if you don't choose Krishna, then only another option that remains is, I remain the slave of Maya. But they say, Maya das sada udas, Krishna das bindas. Right? Right? Maya das, if somebody becomes Maya das, one will remain udas. Because Maya will not satisfy for long. It's illusion. That's Maya. Right? That's illusion. But when we surrender to Krishna, because the experience with Maya, twofold experience. I wanted to lord over Maya, but I could not. And the sufferings that we have experienced with Maya, that kind of spoils, that kind of spoils my attitude of surrender for the soul. Right? So, two alvars in Sri Sampradaya, I'm forgetting the name now, I'm just recollecting the story. I'll tell you this story. What happens in this story is these two alvars, they're walking through a forest, and there's heavy rains, and they lose their way. They see one hut, and they knock at the door, and they're allowed entry. And they're in the hut. One hunter is living in the hut, and these two alvars, these great devotees in Sri Sampradaya, they enter the hut, and they sit there and they continue their discussion. And the discussion that they were doing, and two devotees are together, what will they do? They'll do Krishna Katha. So these two personalities, they were talking that day about surrender, right? Uh, uh, that we are meant to surrender. We are meant to serve the Lord. And the hunter, he stopped the conversation and said, I have a question. And they, okay, you have a question to ask? Hunter asking them, said, okay, please ask your question. And he said, today there was some experience, right, that I had. I want to share with you. And I want to understand from you, what do you learn from this? So in the forest, today when I went for hunting, he said, my way of hunting is I kill rabbits, but I don't kill them. I half kill them. I like to see them, writhing in pain. Right? He said, but today when I saw a rabbit, I was about to throw my parashu, like my weapon to kill, and I'm very cruel hunter. He said, when I was about to throw my weapon, this rabbit came running to me, and this rabbit started licking my feet. And he said, I don't know what happened to me. I picked up that rabbit and I kissed it and I left it. And this hunter said, why did this happen to me? I'm so cruel. What happened today? Right? How come I had this change of heart? And one of the alvars, he started jumping. I got the answer. I got the answer. I got the answer. And the hunter did not understand. What happened, man? Mike, what kind of answer did you get? And the other one was saying, what's going on? He said, whatever discussion we were going through, I got the answer for it. What is the answer? He said, see, this rabbit knew, right, that the rabbit will be killed by this man. But the rabbit surrendered. He said, it's the nature of the jiva to surrender. Right? And he said, this hunter is so cruel, he should have killed the rabbit, but it's the nature in the hunter as a soul to give shelter. So, to take surrender and offer shelter. He says, the jiva is supposed to take shelter. And in the minute jiva, there's a desire to offer surrender, to accept surrender. How much Krishna? How much that aspect in Krishna, when Krishna is saying, Mam ekam sharanam, Krishna is supposed to offer shelter. And I am supposed to surrender to Krishna. He says, I got the answer today. Krishna is the Lord whom I surrender. And as Jiva, I offer my surrender. Right? So, we have two options, either Krishna or Maya. Prabhupada says we are Tatastha Shakti. Right? Tatastha Shakti means Tata, either we can get wet by the waves, or we can remain dry. So we can either be with Krishna, under Krishna's internal energy, or we can be under the Maya energy. Now, one will say, should I become slave of Krishna? Right? Generally, when we hear the word slave, it seems like, oh, it's going to be a painful experience. No. Being slave of Krishna, the first thing is, it's our most natural position. Why? A slave of Krishna is a liberated person. Now, slave and liberation, can it go together? But a devotee who declares that, yes, I am a slave of Krishna, will experience liberation. There is a verse, Srila Prabhupada would quote this verse, this is from Yamunacharya, Bhavantamevanucharan nirantaram prashant nishesha manorathantarah kadahamaikanti nitya kinkarah praharshayishyami sanatha jivitam Giraj Swami Maharaj in his memoirs, he quotes this that they were walking behind Prabhupada, and Prabhupada showed them on the Juhu beach. Prabhupada showed them a dog. This dog was with a leash and being carried by a girl. Right? And the girl was like pulling, come, come, come fast. Prabhupada showed, look at this dog. And then there were some stray dogs jumping around on the beach. Right? Prabhupada said, who is happier? This dog with a leash, or these dogs, these are stray dogs, jumping around on the beach. Who is happier? That's what the devotees said. The stray dogs are happy. See, they are so happy, they are free, they are jumping around. And Prabhupada said, their freedom is illusion. Because very soon the municipality or the city officials will come and drag them away. This dog is leashed and is being taken by the girl. Looks like the dog is suffering, but the dog will be kept on the lap and fed biscuits by this girl. Very Prabhupada says this can be illusory. Prabhupada says. So Prabhupada says we all are moving around in this world like anath. We are anath till the time we are under Maya, but we become sanatha. Right? We also have a Gopinath. Right? So the gopis declared their dependence. Krishna, we belong to you. Similarly, we also have to become sanatha. Right? When do we become sanath? When we declare, Krishna, I depend on you. So the slave of Krishna is liberated. Right? The devotees read, yes, I am a slave of Krishna, but a slave of Krishna will experience liberation. Today is the day and time, or you can say, when these slaves experienced liberation. Right? The time. For a long time, they had to be under slavery. Right? But a devotee of Krishna or a slave of Krishna experiences timelessness. Misnomer. How does this happen with a slave? The example is the gopis, they danced with, they surrendered, they left everything and surrendered to Krishna. And Krishna made them experience timelessness when they were dancing together in the Rasa Leela. One night, right, was turned into the night of Brahma. Krishna is beyond time. The devotee of Krishna goes beyond time. So the slave of Krishna experiences timelessness. Right? For a slave, the slave is dependent. The slave has to beg, please give me daily bread. Please offer me some money. But when you become slave of Krishna, Krishna says, I will give you liberation. And what kind of liberation? Krishna says, I'll give you my own abode. One of the muktis. Salokya. To the slave, Krishna is saying, I'll give my own abode. To the slave, Krishna says, I'll give opulences equal to me. Right? Sarishti. To a slave is kept away, out of the home, or has to live away. Krishna says, I'll take you to my abode. So the slave of Krishna is not a loser. So when we think, oh, if I become a devotee, I surrender to Krishna, I become slave of Krishna, you won't be a loser. Right? Rukmini wrote the love letter to Krishna. And Krishna came in, picked her up, and put her on the chariot. And when Krishna instructed the charioteer, move on, from all sides there was attack. Every king and prince that was there, everyone started attacking. And Rukmini was fearful. Suddenly she was caught by, what will happen? Right? Krishna is taking me away, and now there will be a battle. And there Krishna says, Rukmini, don't worry. Your army will defeat all of them. Right? And Vishwanath Thakur says there, just now, Rukmini was nobody. As soon as Krishna accepted her, Krishna said, your army. See, Vishwanath Thakur says there, Krishna is so eager to offer all his opulences to his devotee, to his slave. Right? One who surrenders to Krishna, one who becomes slave. Generally, a slave is fearful. what will happen? Will I get killed? Will I be chained? A slave of Krishna becomes fearless. Bhajahu remana Srinanda Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. So, becoming a slave of Krishna, you're exactly, in this world when you find what all the slaves go through, a slave of Krishna doesn't experience that. So, I will read a conversation for all of you. It's 9:24. So, one person has come to meet Prabhupada, and this person is saying, this interviewer is saying to Prabhupada, to me, God means freedom. Right? And Prabhupada says, yes, God means freedom, provided you surrender to God. That is real freedom. And then the interviewer says, but I may not accept your idea of God. I may want to worship God. I may want to worship God, or I may not want to worship God. That is my freedom, and that's most important thing to me. Then Prabhupada answers him, a child's freedom, for instance, is to live completely under the protection of his parents. Then he has freedom. But without their protection, he will have no freedom, only suffering. If the child is rebellious, he may think he doesn't need his parents. He wants to be free. But Prabhupada, he's just a rascal. He does not really know what freedom is. Similarly, if you don't surrender to God, then you are misusing your freedom, Prabhupada says. The Bhagavad Gita says, Daivi Esha Gunamai. If you surrender to Krishna instead of Krishna's Maya, then you will become free. If you don't agree to accept the control of Krishna, you will be forced by Krishna's material energy. Prabhupada bolte ja rahe. And this interviewer says, but isn't that a rather stifling kind of slave mentality? This interviewer is asking. And Prabhupada says, we want to become slave of Krishna. And you want so-called freedom. But you do not know that if you don't become a slave of Krishna, then you must become slave of Maya. Then, Prabhupada says, the nature of the soul is to be a slave. That is your natural position. And we can see this practically. If people are not slaves of this material nature, then why are they dying? You don't want to die, but you'll be forced to die. So how are you free? But because people are rascals, Prabhupada says, they don't understand this. They are imagining themselves to be free. So, Srila Prabhupada, at one place Prabhupada says, you are actually meant to be free. You are meant to be mukta. But how will this freedom and liberation come to you? Prabhupada says, first agree to follow the regulative principles of freedom, Prabhupada says. Many times devotees say, oh, if we come to ISKCON, they'll tell us 4 regulative principles. No meditating. No. Aren't you stopping us? Are we not supposed to be free? What kind of freedom? Free like a football to be kicked all around by Maya? What kind of freedom do we want? The freedom of the football to be free like a football? No. What is the Prabhupada says? Freedom will come. But first you have to go through the practice of regulative principles of freedom, Prabhupada says. These principles that Prabhupada has given us, they will actually help us to experience real freedom. Right? So being a slave of Krishna is not an option. Right? That's our real position. Right? So on this day of Juneteenth, what can we do? We can declare our freedom. We can declare our independence. And what is that independence? Real independence is to declare our dependence on Krishna. That I will no more remain a slave of Maya, but I will become a slave of Krishna. In between, do not think, I will no more remain a slave of Maya, I will become Krishna. No. Slave you have to be. I will become the slave of, and the slave of Krishna is called a devotee of Krishna. It's devoted to Krishna's instruction. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavat Mahapurana ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. Any questions, comments? Yes. You're sitting next to the sound guy. Don't commit these mistakes. Yes.
Yeah, Prabhuji, very
It
nice.
hurts. It hurts. When the mic doesn't work, it hurts. Yesterday you stopped. Yes.
Prabhuji, can you help us understand what exactly is surrender and how do we function in the world?
Very
How
good.
do we make our day-to-day decisions
Yes.
with that surrender in mind?
Srila Prabhupada says surrendering to Krishna means surrendering to Guru. Right? If Krishna's instructions are like in the sky for us, oh, wow, how do I understand? People take to Bhagavad Gita and then, what does Krishna want from me? Prabhupada says, then Guru comes in picture. And Guru says, okay, I'll tell you. Like Krishna is telling you in the Gita, Satatam Kirtayantoma. You should chant 24 hours a day. Can you? No. I cannot. Right? 24 hours would become difficult for me also. Right? But Krishna's expectation is Satatam. Then Guru comes in the picture and says, okay, itna nahi hone wala tere se. Theek hai, I'll help you. So like let's say I want to rent a house here and the owner tells me it's going to be $10,000 a month. And I'm like, $10,000? Who will pay $10,000? Right? Then I think, oh, the transaction cannot happen now. But in between comes a property dealer. Right? What do you call him here? Broker. You call it a broker, right? The broker comes in and the broker asks me, कितना देगा बोल? What will you offer? And I say, 5,000 हो जाएगा, 5,000 दे देंगे. And the broker goes to the owner and says, hey, 10 में कुछ होता है क्या? 10,000 anybody will pay for your property, man. Nobody will pay this much for your property. And the owner says, कितना मिलेगा? 7,500. मान जाओ. चलो 7,500. And then the broker comes to me and says, hey, 5 में कुछ मिलता है? 7,500. चलेगा. Deal. What happened? The owner is happy. I am happy. 7,500 में deal हो गया. Krishna is saying Satatam. And I will say, नहीं कुछ नहीं कर सकता मैं. I cannot do Krishna. I cannot chant Hare Krishna also. Prabhupada comes in between, says, नालायक, Satatam करना था. Chant 16 rounds at least. 24 hours नहीं होता तो 2 घंटा तो chanting करना पड़ेगा. And I'm like, अच्छा सौदा है. 24 घंटा. उसमें से 2 ही घंटा. चलेगा चलेगा चलेगा. And Prabhupada goes to Krishna and says, इनसे नहीं होने वाला कृष्ण. इनसे नहीं होगा. 2 घंटे में खुश हो जाओ. Right? Be happy. And Prabhupada does the job for us. Krishna, इनको please accept them, Krishna. Please you accept them. And Radharani is standing. Krishna is still नहीं. मैं सतत बोल के आया. मेरा word का कुछ value है कि नहीं? And Radha is standing next to Krishna. Says, hey Krishna, मैं भी हुआ. चलो चलो. I will handle the matter. Don't worry. Imagine what's going on for us. For us to surrender to Krishna becomes difficult. Then Yasya Prasadat Bhagavat Prasad. We should ask, what does Prabhupada want of us? Prabhupada has made it very clear what is Krishna's expectation, and out of that expectation, what we can, apply in our life. So, being under guidance of senior devotees, understanding what Prabhupada wanted of us, by that we'll understand what Krishna wants of me. And according to our capacity, right? Like if somebody offers me their baby or their kid, and I have to feed the baby, what will I do? Kha. What will the mother do? नहीं प्रभु ऐसा नहीं खिलाते प्रभु जी, ऐसा करके खिलाना पड़ता है. Right? So Prabhupada knows how to take us to Krishna. Right? We also may, kind of, bang into Krishna and, kind of, so many people think, Krishna and me. No, that's not bhakti. We have to keep Guru in between. And when we keep Guru, that's a very safe way of practicing bhakti. Okay? Thank you. Any other comment, clarification, correction, protests you can offer? No. The forum is open for protests also. Right? Juneteenth, right? Somebody protested. We don't want to be slaves. You could protest. क्यों किया प्रभु जी आपने आज का दिन हमारा खराब सुबह. Right? Yes. Okay, no questions, no comments, no protests. Okay. Okay, yes, wonderful. Give the mic to him. I love to hear comments. Then I'll improve.
Hari Bol.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for the wonderful lecture. I almost, when you describe about slave and a devotee of Krishna, there was like a huge gap between what I thought was devotee versus slave. If you replace that with the son, or some other relationship that already Krishna proposes, then it makes amazing sense. Like
Yeah, but today's day was Juneteenth and
Oh.
something connected to slave. And when I
Right.
searched properly, it's yes, we have to be slave of Krishna. And a devotee wants to do that. Because a devotee has full faith that Krishna wants the best. Even I don't know what is good for me. I tried, and this is the world that I am in now, material world. Even I don't know what's good for me. A disciple puts his life in Guru's hands. Guru, please, you take, you deal with. I know you. It's like a kid, a child may do. Parents know the best. If only I accepted I am a child, I'm not a grown up, then it's a very good situation. So Prabhupada says you have to go till the point, because now we are a rebel, and we have been a rebel. We'll have to become a slave, Krishna. Deal with me. What did Prabhupada do? When he came to Boston Harbor, he wrote, Nachao, nachao, nachao se mat. When Prabhupada said, you make me dance, and Prabhupada was wonderstruck at one time, how could so much happen? This is Krishna. Krishna got it done through me. Right? So if we surrender to Krishna, we become slave of Krishna. Wow, what will nimitta matra bhava savyasachi. Do you cook? You cook?
not anymore.
Not
Not
anymore.
anymore. Yeah.
Not anymore. Okay, but
I used
have you cooked? You have experience of cooking?
Yes.
Right? You have. When you use a spoon, right?
ladle. Yeah.
And the spoon इधर उधर टच हो गया तो क्या करते? दूसरा spoon. Right? Instrument is supposed to work the way you like it to, right? Krishna is saying, become my instrument. I have to ask myself, am I instrument in the hands of Krishna? Proper instrument? What does a proper instrument mean? Right? So, yesterday I was sharing with Shivas Pandit, he liked it, right? So, Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj, one time he was mentioning, Krishna is all attractive. Mr. Preacher, move aside. Sometimes as preacher, we say, I am an instrument in Krishna's hand, but I am blocking Krishna's mercy to reach from those who want to come to Krishna. Right? A preacher also is an instrument in Krishna's hand. What? Transparent via medium, Prabhupada says. So we all want to become instrument in Krishna's hand. We all want to become sons of Krishna. But because it was Juneteenth, we want to become slave of Krishna.
So yesterday was Father's Day. So
We don't want to become Krishna's father. That position is taken by Nanda Maharaj. There is no competition there. There is no competition for Nanda Maharaj.
we could be kids of Krishna. That's all.
Oh, Krishna.
Pitaham.
We can
asya
proclaim
jagatah.
Krishna is my father.
Yeah.
Father's Day. Yes.
So he says in Gita, right? Pitaham asya jagatah.
Yes. पितामह धाता माता पितामह ग्रैंडफादर भी मैं जो बोलते फादर भी मैं ग्रैंडफादर भी मैं स्पेशल है वो केस एकदम से किट्टू माता जी
Just follow up on that question which Prabhuji asked. There was one devotee friend who asked this question. Like, she understands the process. I mean, we have 16 rounds and also inspired by a guru. What is the need of formal initiation? Like, in the heart, there is, I mean, they are inspired by a devotee.
There are books available in the market. Why do you take admission to university? Why do you take? Very simple. You're serious about it. Right? It's no more, I think I can do it. No, I'm serious about this. When you're serious, then you have some formal process. When there is some serious activities there's a formal process that you put it in. Similarly, when I'm really serious about my spiritual life, the formal process is I accept initiation. Right? And if you are your own guru, then you have fool as your disciple. Right? If you're your own guru, then you have a fool as your disciple, right? Don't be your own guru. You'll have bad experience because you'll have a worse disciple. Right? Shall we stop? Okay. Send the mic.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. This is such a wonderful class and a wonderful subject, and you made it so live and you're making us laugh.
I got up at 1:15 in the morning. What to do? I was thinking what to do today, Juneteenth. Yes.
Thank you so much for coming and enlightening us, Prabhu. So I heard from Guru Maharaj and several other very senior Vaishnavas that between a devotee, a newly joined devotee, to a fully surrendered pure devotee, all it takes is the level of surrender, right? So how do we know where we are in terms of surrender and how to surrender more to progress? What are the steps that we can take?
So we don't certify ourselves. मैं बहुत surrendered हूँ मालूम, मैं बहुत surrendered. Don't certify yourself. Generally, certification is taken from an external agency. So our spiritual superiors, gurus, they can comment on us. Yeah, very good devotee, very nice. Other way, if you want to check your surrender, is there a meter for checking your surrender? See how much risk-taking ability has come in you for Krishna. How much risk can you take for Krishna? In your own life, how much risk are you taking? Like I was one time at GEV and I was with some students there. And one of my relatives from Mumbai, they happened to visit. And one elderly lady, they were like huge family, they were visiting. And this lady met me and she said, "Oh, tu ikade kai karto hai? What are you doing here?" And I said, "What are you? I'm just with the group." "No, I didn't mean that." "Aisa ka hai? Aisa kyun kiya tum?" She's saying, why have you become like this? Sorry, not why have you become like this? And she started, interrogating. Kitna saal ho gaya? Kyun aisa kiya? Kitne saal se? And at that time I told her 14 years. I have been a brahmachari for 14 years now. कुछ खराब किया मैं, मुझको शर्म आना चाहिए ऐसा कुछ, तो मुझको नहीं लगता शर्म आना चाहिए ऐसा कुछ किया, माँ बाप को बता के किया, ऐसा भाग के नहीं किया कुछ. I informed parents. And you know what she said? 14 साल लीगली पेरेंट्स से कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला तुमको. ये क्या मतलब होता है लीगली कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला? 14 साल का वनवास याद है? इट फर्स्ट टाइम क्लिक्ड मी, शी बिकेम माय गुरु इन दिस रिगार्ड, कि 14 साल का वनवास क्यों होता था, 12 साल फिर 1 साल अज्ञातवास क्यों होता था. इवन इन दैट एरा समबडी इज अवे फॉर 13 और 14 ईयर्स, उसके बाद लीगली कुछ मिलता नहीं लीगली शेयर. ऐसे ठीक है. उसके बाद क्या बोलते पता, तुमको डर नहीं लग रहा कुछ मिलेगा नहीं? डर नहीं लग रहा. एंड देन शी मेड अ कमेंट, इतना रिस्क काहे को लिया? Got it? Your risk-taking ability shows your surrender also. I'm not saying I'm surrendered, but she made me understand risk, how much. Like Prabhupada's disciples, what? Prabhupada took a risk at that advanced age. That's his surrender to his guru's instruction, to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire. And Prabhupada's disciples, what they did not do. What? That is, you're taking risk, will I be able to do it? I'm doubtful. But Guru is instructing. Then I take a risk. That is your surrender. Right? The gopis came in the middle of the night. Right? Right? It was risky to come. Will Krishna accept us? And they come all the way in the dead of the night. And Krishna says, "Ghari parat ja. Go back home." अब भी घर नहीं जाने वाले, अब आ गए, अब घर नहीं जाने वाले हम लोग. See, Krishna tested their surrender like this. So Guru certifies us, our risk-taking ability, and don't worry, you're chanting Hare Krishna, your surrender will get tested time and again, and you'll be like, अभी बाकी है, बहुत कुछ बाकी है. Right? Like for Vibhishan, was it his surrender? He left Lanka, he left Ravana, and he came to Rama, and he knew, and he could have doubted, will I be accepted? For Prahlad, Hiranyakashipu is the ruler of the 3 worlds. Yes, bolu ke Narsingh Dev ko. Should I? That's his surrender. Right? Then, so Vibhishan left his brother. Right? Prahlad gave up on his father. Then you have somebody who gave up his guru. His name comes for surrendering to Krishna. He gave up his guru. Right? Brother, guru, father, right? And Gopi's example comes. They gave up everything for Krishna. Sarva dharman. That is Sharanam. So for us, we may be at certain level, but as we continue practicing and as we become purified, would like to go closer to Krishna, and that means I'll have to surrender a few things. I'll ask you a question. You've seen a rocket launch? देखा है? And do you have a bike? You have a bike. Both have engines. This rocket has engine and your bike has engine. आपके बाइक को ऐसा खड़ा कर दिया, ऐसे जाएगा? कब जाएगा? कब जाएगा? किसी को डाउट है जाएगा? नहीं जाएगा. आपका बाइक नहीं जाएगा. रॉकेट काहे को गया? बताओ. रॉकेट क्यों गया? आपकी बाइक नहीं गई. टेस्ट थ्रस्ट. उसके पीछे आग लगा है. There's a fire behind. जिस दिन आपके पीछे आग लगेगा ना, फिर ऊपर जाएगा. पक्का जाएगा. But if you have seen the rocket launch, you have focused properly, you have seen it. जब वो ऊपर जाता है ना, there are empty cylinders that the rocket has to drop. We want to go to Krishna, but we also hold on to our empty cylinders. इसलिए speed कम हो जाता है. At the right time, surrender means drop your empty cylinders. Give off. If you have realized this is an empty cylinder, give off. छोड़ो. Then you will reach Krishna. ठीक है? Thank you very much. The host has the right for the last comment.
Just want to thanks, word of thanks. Shangi Mataji.
She also gets the chance. Right? Wow. You're so modest and polite. You know the better half should get the chance first. Huh? Yes, ma'am.
So, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanvatna. So, Prabhuji, how about our free will? Can we surrender that to Krishna?
We are supposed to. Our free will is meant to surrender to Krishna only. That I will. Like, what did Jesus say? Let thy will be done, not my will. God, I have tried. I have willed so many things, but what has come out of it? What comes out of my choices? I only run behind Maya. Devotee means I will what is Krishna's will. My will and Krishna's will has to come together. The mismatch is where I am not a devotee. The match, when it happens, that means, yeah, I will. You got married, right? You got married, right? And you had to leave your home. And what did you do after coming to Sasural? You matched your will now. ठीक, इस घर में जैसा चलता है, इस घर में जो होता है, जैसा होता है, मैं करता हूँ, मैं करती हूँ. Same case with the devotee. As we become devotee, we try to understand what does Krishna want? What does Krishna will? What does Krishna want? And as much as I cover that distance, and that offering of free will is what is our love for Krishna.
But Prabhuji, how can we, like, in mundane situations, there is a choice, you make this or this. And so how do we know that is matching with Krishna's will?
Ask Guru, wherever you're in doubt. Very simple.
So should we surrender our free will to our Guru first?
Yes. That's what initiation means. I offer myself, right? And I take the vows that day, right? And whenever I'm in doubt, I cross-check. If सुबह chanting करने का कि शाम को chanting करने का? Ask Guru. Guru says नहीं सुबह. Now the mind will rebel. नहीं शाम वाला बहुत अच्छा लगता है. नहीं सुबह करना पड़ेगा. Then I say okay भाई चलो सुबह करते chanting, whatever सुबह chanting करेंगे. Right? So every step wherever we are in doubt, we just check with Guru. It helps. Yes. Okay. All questions answered for you because she has asked the question. Jai. कि हिम्मत ही नहीं बची आपकी अभी क्वेश्चन पूछने की. हिम्मत किधर है अभी? हिम्मत कहाँ है प्रभु जी? इसके बाद हिम्मत खत्म हो गई अपनी सारी. सच में हो गई. He doesn't want to hold the mic also now. हो गया प्रभु जी, हो गया. मुझे पता है यहाँ पे माइकल लाल कौन है. माइकल. Yes, प्रभु.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji, and our profuse thanks for this wonderful lecture, gracing our house with your divine presence. And I also want to express a huge thanks to my relatives, Rajesh ji and Neeta ji, who made this connection possible, and Krishnangi Mataji for giving us the opportunity in your busy schedule to really grace our house and divinize it with your presence, in the presence of all the devotees. And so big thanks to all the devotees who participated, and please forgive us for any inadvertent offense that we may have committed. So thank you very much.
All have one question. Where is Prasad? दिखाई नहीं कोई प्रसाद नहीं.
Prashadam.
Freedom from hunger today. Slaves, be free from hunger today. जाओ. Or you remain the slave of hunger. Go ahead, go to your house. Thank you very much. Srila. Yes. Okay. So we'll have a small kirtan, right, in his honor. She'll do the kirtan. Yes.
नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादिशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Radhe. Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande.
This is a special announcement on the occasion of auspicious occasion of Juneteenth. It's a spontaneous decision that we are all going to fast, so there's no prasadams. Yeah, that was a joke that was just made up 2 minutes ago. Prasadam is being served.